computer. Perfect. Okay, we are recording. So for those on the call, welcome. And for those watching later, we still welcome you anyhow, even though you missed it live and all the epicness that we're bringing, we're still bringing it. So it is our day 7 of training. And we have our superstar, Val, speaking to us today about confidence.
Yay.
And if you guys have been watching Val for a while, Val is like
confident about this, by the way.
Oh, yeah. So Val is like super awesome to watch. And before she knew I was watching her, I was watching her. She had no idea. Because I was emulating the thing she was doing, because Val is showing up for people in a big way, and Val is having success, and that's what I want to do. So I'm not watching in a jealous way. I am watching in a way that, how can I be like Val? So with Val's confidence, she's going to share with us today how the rest of us can be like Val, and then we'll all just have that extra level of awesomeness to add to what we already have. Anyway, so we're going to do this interview style, and I've got some questions to ask Val. And then any other things she wants to add in, of course, we will be honored to take in all the wisdom and the nuggets she can throw out at us. So, Val, have you always been confident, even as a child?
No. I was a tomboy, and I think I didn't really pay attention to what confident was until, like, basically I was doing this. But as a child, I was picked on for looking like a boy. I had super blonde hair, like white blonde hair as a kid, and I was a swimmer. So, like, you're in the chlorine all the time, your hair turns green. Yeah. So basically I cut off all my hair because it was green. Why walk around with green hair? That's even worse back then. Now green hair is cool, but whatever.
That's right. Yeah, you were just like a pioneer.
Yes, I was paving the way. And basically, it was funny because, like, girls didn't pick on me; it was boys, and I think maybe that was because I was A-type personality, and they were offended by that. So I guess I was confident. But I remember specifically this one story it was actually my best friend's cousin, and he walks up to me, and I remember it clear as day. You look like a boy, and I was like, what? And, like, ever since that day, I'm like, I look like a boy. Like, it just stuck in my head. So I was like, I don't know. It ate at me for years. That was like my self-confidence, self-esteem was like because of one word. I'm sure everybody has a story where they can think of back in their mind where people, you took a story and made it in your head, and it just made you feel like you weren't good enough. And, like, that's one of them. There's several of them along the lines, but as a kid, that was my self-esteem.
Okay, so then my next question for you is, so, we'd like to know how being a police officer helps with your confidence, because, I mean, when we're looking at you or looking at, fellow police officers, we're seeing such confidence in how they carry themselves, how they just, you just feel that they're confident. And so do you find a difference between your confidence in your line of work as a police officer versus confidence in your personal life versus confidence in your business life?
It's funny. This is a really good question, because I've never really given, like, I think I'm self-aware, but, like, recently I've become really self-aware, and that's a really good question for me to ponder this. In my personal life, I'm totally confident in, like, everything. Like, I think I'm too alpha. My husband and I butt heads because we're both alpha. So, but not in a bad way. We have opinions, and we believe in them. We believe, like, strong values, strong character. That's what I stand for, all that. And I think that carries over into police work. When you just have to, you're a police officer, you're authoritative just by putting on a uniform every day. So that's just been ingrained in me. And I never really thought of it that way. Like, because in my business, I've had so little confidence in my abilities. And now that you bring that up, it's like I could transfer that over. You know what I mean? That it's just who I am. So I should, but I never really, I separated all that. Like we had a conversation earlier today about lying and like interviewing.
Right.
And I can, by a person's body language and the way they say things, I can tell that they're lying. So how come I can't use that in interviewing and being on video and stuff? And I just never put the two together. There's so many things we do in our lives that we could bring into our business that we're just not aware of our strengths. So that's a good one, Cher. Thank you for pointing that out, because I never really thought of it that way. But yeah, I wasn't confident in my business at all. I didn't think I was good enough. And I just play these stories, and they were stories in my head about how I saw myself as opposed to the way the rest of the world saw me.
Yeah, because I don't know, but number one fan over here was seeing you very differently from obviously how you were seeing yourself. And yeah, like again, speaking about us doing this interview tonight, it's like you're the interviewer, like you are trained in that. And so here I'm sitting in the interviewer's seat, not being trained in that. Just hi, oh my gosh, look at the kids. Sorry, that was my squirrel moment. But so for me to sit here and do this with you, it in a sense could be very intimidating. At the same time, it's like a challenge, and it's fun. And I guess that's also part of bringing our confidence into different areas of our life. And yeah, if we're doing something in personal life or professional life, why can't that transcend into what we're doing with soul? And for some of us who are doing, other things with health coaching and one-on-one type services, you can just take that with you because it's part of you.
Right.
So,
even like anyone that's a mom or dad, you're really good at interviewing because you could totally interrogate your children to get the truth out of them, right? Like, let's just use that as everyone has the strength. So let's just say we have it.
Right.
Like you find the parallels and you use like that. We already have everything. It's funny. We already have everything. We just have to get it upstairs that we do. Like, it's crazy when you start seeing like, oh wow, I've been a police officer for 15 years. I can interview somebody. Other way around, I'm not very good at being interviewed either. So we're switching roles here, and I'm growing from this too, because I've never done something like this before. So it's interesting. So like, I don't know, my confidence in the last, I would say 2 months is just completely changed around. It is.
Well,
I give myself compliments. Who does that? I never did. Right?
But before we started recording, I totally gave myself a compliment. So
yes, you did. See, you get it. Like, I would never do that. I always be like, oh, I'd be like way hard on myself. I'd be like, man, I could have done that better. No, maybe you could have done that better, but why are you beating yourself up? You did a great job. Just leave it at that. Like a lot of people don't want to look at their videos because they're like, oh, I stink on video. No, see, you already set yourself up to look at it from that frame of mind. So you're making yourself right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you don't want to be wrong.
Right. So, nobody wants to be wrong.
No, you don't want to be wrong. So you're like, I suck, or I can't do that. And then you don't try so that you can be right. And that gets you what? Like, ultimately, how close does that get us to our goals in life in general?
Never does.
Nope.
You just make yourself right. That's all you're doing.
Yeah, like, woohoo, you're right. You're living in a bubble and you're too scared to talk to people and you're too scared to help people, even though you could be helping a lot of people. But you were right, man. Like, good for you. Kudos to you for sitting there in the corner by yourself, not helping people.
Right.
Like, yeah. Not the life that we are all living.
No. And fear, too. Like, I go to work for 15 years and every day I'm like, oh, well, something might happen today. The worst thing ever. I might not come home today, but I've got to deal with that reality every time I walk out the door. I've got to. I mean, that's fear every day. And I deal with it all the time, but yet I can't make a phone call to ask somebody if they like to join my team. And you know what I mean?
Wow, that's powerful, Val, because you're right. You are in a situation where your job is very dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Very. The worst thing that's going to happen to me is I'm going to get like yet another paper cut. So, I mean, that's a big difference for you to have that reality and that possibility. So yeah, why can't you make a phone call?
Right. Oh, I can now.
Yeah.
But I never used to be able to. That's like kind of like, do you want to just stay the same? Like, I'm sure everyone, like, I have these huge goals for my business. Like, I want to be 15K. I want, like, my goal is to be 15K by June. You know why? Because my husband wants a new car. And I want that car bonus so I can give him that new car. So he does everything around here while I work. So what better way to do that? And it's not I mean, other than having, like, it'd be nice to have it, but like, my goal is for him. So like, what's your goal? Like, and then just remove it all. That's you're going to reach it. How are you going to reach it? You break it down and you get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And it sounds so simple, but when you get in your head, it's not.
No.
It's really not. I've spent 8 years in my previous company being inside my head. 8.
Yeah.
And one thing that was huge for me was Landmark.
Right.
Because I was carrying all these stories in my head about who I thought I was. And when I found a way that I could remove that and just start over and be able to, like, speak to somebody and, like, for them to understand and, like, be empowered by, like, the words that come out of my mouth, that's, like, it's life-changing. It's literally life-changing. And I know you guys hear it all the time, but Kristen can't say it enough, Curtis can't say it enough, but I'm saying it too. Like, literally, I know Sarah Chunglow's going this weekend. I think it's Wednesday, maybe two. I don't remember, but she's going to be done by Tuesday of next week. And I can't wait. Like, you guys get to see it from beginning to end right there. And just, oh my gosh, I can't wait till she comes back so you guys can see what a difference it makes.
Yes.
I want to hear what Jessica's playing over there. Is that hubby?
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking too.
I don't know if you can hear it through my headphones. It's all kinds of noisy.
Oh.
He's just picking around. Hey, don't spill the trouble. I'm really interested in doing Landmark too. Kristen talked to me about it for years. And I would love to. But yeah, the more people I feel like I help, the more confident I feel, for sure. To have people ask the same questions over and over and over, and me feel like even if I don't have an answer, I can guide them towards an answer. Right. It's very empowering because it's like I don't have to have the answers. I need to just be a guiding vessel for you, you know.
Right. We have an awesome team. That pretty much helps with confidence right there. When you have a bunch of people that want to truly help each other, and there's no strings attached to that. There's no stories there. It's just we're literally a team. Like, that's so empowering. When I came here, I was like, wow, this is how this is supposed to be. You know what I mean? So teamwork and having a mentor, and, like, literally, I was counting yesterday. I think I read 32 books last year. Yeah. 32. I'm a reader. I know Cher's probably she's probably on like 80 because Cher's she's a speed reader, but personal development is huge for me. I listen to it all day at work. I don't even listen to the radio. I don't even watch TV. I don't. Feed my mind.
And obviously that's working.
For me.
It's totally working.
It's totally working, yeah, for sure. And, you know, another thing that you, Jessica, you mentioned about, you know, not having the answers. It's really okay for us to not have answers when we are having those conversations. A lot of times people don't want to hear our answers necessarily. I mean, if it's with product guidance, that's a different story. But if they're having a problem, they don't really want our opinion. They want somebody to listen so they can sort it out themselves and come up with the answers. And that's usually something that they're willing to do, an action they're willing to take when they've had the idea. But just giving them some guidance in that and asking the right questions is so much a big part of that, which obviously it is in sales too, for any of us who were on Jeremy's live earlier, asking the right questions. And that's sales, but that's also, you know, just being present to who you're speaking to. So I've got a couple more questions, Val.
Right.
I would love for you to share just some background on your journey in confidence and, like, up until that that pivotal moment where the switch was just flipped and you went from, I don't know if I really have confidence, to boom, I've got it, I've nailed it. So what was that? Take us through that so that we can maybe relate that to how we're on the journey and where we're at ourselves.
I can't even. It started like, I'm like an old ninja with Who Knows a Guy. And I remember like, I literally would have, and I know Curtis is super busy now, but I literally have phone calls with him and be asking him every question and be like, oh, Curtis, can you look at this? How is this? How is this? Like, I just needed validation all the time in order, like, from somebody else instead of getting it for myself. And that was like the start of that. And then I done some, like, I don't know, like, Landmark was huge. But then I started building on that when I was like, okay, where's my goal? What's my ultimate goal? What's my why? And honestly, reverse engineering things. Like, I have personal goals. I have my business goals. I have goals with my relationships too. A huge thing was time management for me, because I literally was on the computer, like with my previous thing, all day long. And I was creating all this content, but I wasn't having conversations with people. I think that ultimately was it. Like, PMC was huge, because I was like, wow, I just found it. I was just surface, with everything in the back of my mind is I want to sell something to somebody. But with that, I was like, I want to find out more about you as a person, like coming from my heart. Cause I have so much passion for everything. That's when I'm into something, I'm like 110% in, but I was going about it the wrong way. I still want to help you, but let me help you somewhere else. Like, there's other things I can help you with too. And I think that was a confidence booster, was just having those like true conversations. Like me and you share, like, we have some pretty intense conversations. I've had some pretty intense conversations with people like that I wanted to help, but like, it was nothing around my business. It was personal stuff. And that's just, trust is huge. And that's a confidence booster when someone can tell you something very personal about themselves and they don't know you they don't know you for years. Like, I know my husband, I can tell him anything, but they're literally telling me, I mean, the personal stuff. It's huge when somebody trusts you like that. That's a confidence booster.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And being just the authenticity in what we're doing and how we're showing up. You're obviously showing up for people in a big way that they're sharing because they know you're going to be there. And they're sharing because they know you're not going to judge them.
Right.
And you are there for them because you are there for them, not because it's a sale.
Right.
I mean, I recall doing old business stuff where it was like, anything with a pulse, I wanted to sell something to. Like, it was like, oh, does your dog need a package like this? Like, no, they don't. This is for people. But, that desperation and just that icky place. So, yeah, I definitely see, like, I've watched your confidence build, but I felt that you had a lot before, like when I started watching you in November. I felt that you had tons of confidence then.
I was fake it till you make it. Now I really have it. Just saying.
Well, see, if I had skills in interviewing, I would have then known you were lying. But because I don't have those skills, I think
I had confidence in what I was doing, but I didn't have that inside. In myself, I didn't have it.
So when did you notice that you had it inside? Like, was there a specific event or a specific conversation or just certain things happening at the same time that you just all of a sudden were like, wait a minute, this is, confidence exudes me?
Honestly, I think it was a series of events. Obviously, talking with Kristen, we could have a deep conversation. I was spending way too much time doing my business. I was literally on the computer all day long. Like, me and my husband had no relationships, and he held what I did against me because he felt that was taking me away from him. I think that was, see, you too, see? And once I decided, okay, I'm only going to do my business this many hours a day. I'm going to spend time with my husband. I'm going to spend time with my son. And I put it in a schedule. I had to do that. Some people think that's ludicrous, but I don't, because I had to do it to see it. And when I saw it and I did it, and my husband's like, wow, what are you doing? Oh, wow. Look at your checklist. Wow, you're doing great. Oh, let me tell you about this. You could do this. And here's a good idea. And I'm like, oh, he's like, get off the computer. What are you doing? You've made no money. That was before. And now he's like, I'm on the phone with like you, Kristen, Susan, Jess, I'm on the phone with you. I get off the phone and Kristen always does this, you guys know. Love you. He's like, who is it? I'm like, Kristen. He's like, oh, okay. Like, he like just knows I'm on the phone with people from work. He's like totally okay with it because he understands that like I'm making time for him and he understands what I'm doing because we had this conversation. If you like, that was a huge confidence because he believes in me now too. And if people that you love don't believe in what you're doing, boy, is that hard on you because you feel like you're living two different lives. And I didn't want to do that anymore.
Yeah,
so
that's a whole lot of truth bomb right there for anybody, which used to be myself as well. For those who've been around a while, I think you might have seen me called out on a team call with this, which was like the best thing that could have ever happened to me to be able to move forward. And it was that same thing, and it's not uncommon. So, you really have to be real with yourself in this to be able to move to those next steps. Like brutal honesty, probably gonna hurt. It's gonna sting a little. It's not a pleasant conversation perhaps to have to go into, but end result is just phenomenal. So Val, with the confidence now that you recognize that you have, even though you faked it and I believed you, I'm a sucker.
I feel like a fraud. No, I'm just kidding.
It's all good because you know what? You faking it inspired me. So you know what? It's not.
I didn't fake it. I just was a mess. My life wasn't where it needed to be.
Yeah.
I was confident in my business. However, my husband hated me. He hated my business, and that weighs on the back of your head all the time.
Oh, absolutely.
It does.
No. Yeah, it does. So, but now that things have changed, and I mean, this is the point where we want everybody to be at, is knowing they have the confidence, making sure that their family works, being, showing up for their business in a big way, showing up for people with no expectation. When you got all of this working for you, what are the biggest changes that you noticed in your work, at home, and your business? All three of those. What are the biggest changes you noticed that have happened now in the last few months?
At work, I used to just want people to like me, and that was a self-esteem thing. Now, I'm their boss too. I'm a supervisor, so I'm in charge of them at work. But now if they're gonna, because I have to tell them to do something, and they're not gonna like it, I don't worry about them not liking me. They're gonna like me anyway. That's my job. And I just, the way I say it, I'd say it without sounding like, because I'm confident. I don't sound, like I'm lower than them or I'm begging them to do something. Or it is what it is. Here, you got to do it. Oh, that stinks. Yeah, it does. But guess what? We got to do it. Okay. There's no back talk or anything anymore. They get it. And we can actually have normal conversations at work about other things that aren't work, like their personal lives and stuff. So the trust is there now. I think they see that I'm confident, and it's paying off there because that's what they want in a boss. They don't want a boss that's not going to be confident. That's almost embarrassing.
Right. Yeah, of course. Especially in your line of work too.
Yes.
Because everybody is just so respected and definitely perceived as being confident. So
I have no problem talking to people out on the street. Never been a problem to me. It's dealing with the people I work with because we're all alphas, and you got alphas all button heads. So you got to learn how to talk to people, but you got to also stay strong because if you back down, they're going to walk all over you. So it's kind of but you can do that without being, I'm the boss, you can do that, treat them like a human being, which I'm doing now instead of being offended that they're angry. Like, oh, they don't like me now. I'm not worried about that. You don't have to like me. I'm your boss.
Right. Just respect me.
Yeah. You
Okay,
don't have to
so
agree with me either.
yeah. So personal life and business life. How, just run quickly. I mean, I know you said about, marriage type issues, like everything being better with that, but just, is there anything else in personal life that has changed for a positive way?
I spend more time with my son. We read every night before we go to bed. Instead of being on the computer and like being aggravated that I feel like I'm being bothered, and I'm not a bad mom, but that's what it sounds like. And I felt like I was because of that. But now this is my time with them. Sorry. Everyone else can wait until tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just like when it's my time with you, they understand too. They have to wait until I'm done. You got to be able to.
We lost you, Val, or I can't hear you anyway. Hello, nope. Testing. Nope. Oh, now, but you're like far away.
Dang it. Hang on.
Oh, wait. No, Chkai. I mean, that was Ukrainian for wait. I'm sorry. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I'll take these off then. Maybe I hit the microphone. That's probably what happened.
Okay. No worries. We can hear you. So yeah, like the family can be more respectful of your work time because your work time, you're making it respectful of your family time.
Right.
Yeah.
And same thing with like your customers and your specialists and other people, your accountability department or whatever, they all respect your time when you give them you have business hours. That's your business hours are this time to this time every day, or they rotate because you work another job like me. But I think making that part of your daily routine and then doing it consistently is the best way to be able to have it all.
Yeah, I agree. And it goes back to the whole day one time management, setting up our calendars and, being okay with them changing, but at the same time, trying to really ensure that work time is work time and family time is family time. And that just, it makes life work. So I have one more question. And then if there's anything else that you want to share, please do. But just wondering what advice you would have for anybody who could be struggling with their confidence right now, or they find their confidence is hit and miss from one day to the next, or maybe it's situational. So how can somebody just, get to having that higher level of confidence more often, like very regularly?
Do everything that scares you. Best way to do it. Like best way. I was scared to death get on Zoom and phone calls, and I had Curtis telling me, just get on the phone. I'm like, whatever. You get mad because it's like, okay, I feel uncomfortable and I'm mad. Why? It's because you're doing something that's going to make you grow. Do something that scares you. Whatever it is and if you want to be business related, that's fine. But another thing to grow your confidence is like, if anyone that has low self-confidence or low self-esteem, you're in your head, and all day long you beat yourself up for whatever something didn't go right. Like somebody didn't want to buy today. What did I do wrong? And I'm terrible at this. Maybe I shouldn't do this anymore. Knock that off, because you just, either way, you find a positive to come out of all that. Like, and then you start training your brain to look at a positive on everything, and that's going to change your confidence too, because you're not going to be stuck in your head and you have be going over and over it again. And if you have somebody you trust, like we have accountability partners, or even if you have somebody else on the team that you're more comfortable with, go over that with them. Like, this is how I feel. Most of the time it's a story you're making up in your head. And a story, once you say it out loud, you believe it, and then it becomes part of who you are. So it's like, start finding something positive and keep going with it. Because once you start going down that road where you're inside your head telling yourself all that, it's so defeating, and it's a terrible cycle. And I was doing that for the longest time. The Curse would be like, just stop it, just knock it off, and I'd be like, what? And I didn't get what I was doing. And I'm like, oh, now I totally get what I was doing. And you just look desperate, like right. Not that you look desperate, but you sound desperate because you're in your head all day long. Like, just somebody help me, That's how it comes off.
But find somebody that will help you and talk to them and talk it out. So then you have like, it's complete and then you can move on. Because if you, like literally, there's been times I've called Kristen where I'm like, oh my God, I've had this bad day. She's like, all right, tell me about it. And I tell her and she's like, okay, well, I'm giving you an hour to feel like that and then you're done. All right, give yourself time to feel whatever way you're going to feel and then move on.
Has there been any specific, with all of your reading, has there been any specific book or any specific podcast that you could think of off the top of your head as I throw this at you that would help somebody with confidence if they were looking for something to add to?
Whew. Well, Solid Resoul is pretty good. I'll tell you that. I've got to hear what I've got.
Yeah.
I've got so many books.
I just couldn't think of one off the top of my head, so I was like, hey, let's just ask Val.
You Are a Badass? I personally only read half. I couldn't get through that book. It might be good. I'll try it again, but
you know what, Val? If you didn't like the first bit, I forced myself to read it. I found that it was very much just, it was like reading a whole bunch of other books that I'd already read. Like it was like seemed to be really too much of her material. The end got better for me, but there's a lot of people that like that, and because we're all different, that could well be a great book for a lot of people. So,
5 Second Rule by Mel Robbins. Mel Robbins is amazing. That's a good one to get over your fear. If you're fearful of things, it's huge.
Yeah.
I've read so many that I'll put them in the comments later, which ones that I have, because I literally I have a whole stack here, and I read on Kindle, so I'll be looking through on my
one that, now that you mentioned that last book, Brene Brown, The Gifts of Imperfection, was a very good one about just being cool with who you are, which sometimes really helps with our confidence in just accepting ourselves and all our flaws, because we all have them. And it doesn't make us bad people. It doesn't make us wrong in every situation. It is just, working with that. And the other part I love to bring into this, which we won't today, Val, because I know you and I could go on for about 3 more hours, Myers-Briggs, personality testing, all of those psychology, if you ladies are into it as well, but I know Val and I've had a lot of good talks around this, and sometimes understanding yourself really helps with that confidence, because why do you act in a certain way? Sometimes it's a lot that it's kind of just that personality, and some of that stuff you were born that way. So now, how can I take this and make this work for me? So it's not that you have to say like, well, I was just born like that. That's just that, I'm impatient and I blow my top right away. Recognizing that, but then being able to turn that around in a positive way to just lead a better life.
Right.
So
Sally Hogshead is.
Yeah, Sally, my buddy, my pal. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, everybody needs to read that book. Maybe that's another month. That's a book club reader, I'm sure. That's all branding and working and magnifying your strengths. Like everybody's good at different things. Like we've noticed on this team, there's we've all know each other very well, pretty much, and you could tell like there are certain people on this team that rock it out with certain things, and that exactly if you have a question on something, who you're going to talk to. You just know it from what they're good at, and like that's awesome. Like we should all celebrate every single strength that each of us has that's unique, because together we're awesome together, because we know what we're all good at. And I think that's huge with confidence too. You know what you're good at, and like you're living your life according to your values and your character and being truthful. That's a confidence booster right there. I mean, if you're saying you're doing one thing and you're not doing it, of course that's not going to make you confident, because you're not doing it. You're lying to yourself.
Great point. That's a huge nugget right there. That was like a Valism.
Yeah. If you want to have this, if you want to have this great business and you're in great family, you need to make time for both. You can't just say, yeah, I'm great with time management when you're not. If you want to be great with time management, do it. Find a way to do it. If you need help, don't be afraid to ask because nobody knows everything.
Right. Yeah. It's that brutal honesty with yourself. And again, sometimes that hurts. So, okay. Well, of course, we went longer than what Val and I had kind of planned. Val, do you have anything else that you would like to add? Or ladies, do you have any specific questions for Val right now?
Good. There's something in the chat. Did I miss the chat? Oh, okay, the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Devil's beat.
No worries, no worries. Okay, well then, I think we should just end this call for tonight. And of course, if anybody has any further questions for Val or anybody on the team, of course, you know you can always reach out to anybody at any time. And we are definitely all there for each other. And Val, thank you for sharing with us because this is really important. Just for us to be able to live our lives, never mind help with the business part. So very, very important topic, some great truth bombs there. And I think we can call her a night. Everybody can go spend time with their family, or if they're scheduled to be doing business, then that's fine.
That's what I'm doing. I'm going to read with my son.
Good. That's the place you need to be. So, okay. Well, thank you again, Val.
Thank you, Cher, for having me. Bye, guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow, Jessica.